Okay, we're going to be finding parallel lines. Now, let's take a look at what we've been given. We've been given an equation and a point. This is what it actually looks like, so we're going to convert this to something that's visual. Okay, the slope currently, we'll call it slope number 1, is -1. So there's actually a -1 in front of the x, and that's the slope. The slope gives you the rise and the run. So let's turn this into a fraction. We're turning -1 into -1/1. So that's your rise and that's your run. So it's going to go down 1 and run 1. So let's write that as rise and run. So we know that this equation has a rise and run of -1/1. And this is a point here somewhere on the graph. So let's draw this and then we'll write this. So this is going to start at 2. This is the y-intercept. So we're going to go to 0, 2, which is right here. That's 0, 2, which is the y-intercept. And then we're going to use the rise and run, which is down 1 and then over 1 to get the next point. And then we go down 1 over 1 again to get the next point. If you keep doing that, that will create a line. This is the line for this equation. We'll call it y1. Now, what about -4, 3? That's another line. Sorry, that's a point, and it's located here. 1, 2, 3, -4, and then 1, 2, 3, +3. So that point, -4, 3, is right there. So what we're trying to do is create a whole new line that's going to go through the -4, 3, that's going to go through that point, but it's going to be parallel to this one. Now, how do you know it's parallel? If you ever see these two lines right here, that's our symbol for parallel. So we want a new line that's going to go through this point right here, but parallel to the line that we created. So it'll look like this when we're finished. Okay, so how do you make those lines? Lines basically need two things. You start with the y-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b. The equations of lines need two things. And the two things you need is the m and the b. Once you know those two numbers, then you can create your line simply by putting those two numbers in. So let's say you work hard and you find that the slope is -1/3, and you find that the b is 5, 4. Then you will end up knowing that the equation is y equals -1/3 x plus 4. Okay, so the ideal is finding that m and b, and then you can make your line very quickly. So let's start that process of finding the m and the b. Okay, so what we have right now is that y equals -x plus 2, and the slope for this equation right here, it will be right in front of the x. Now you don't see a number here, but it's actually a -1. So your slope for this equation is -1. Okay, now we'll just say -1. Now, to find a parallel slope, the one that we're looking for, the parallel slope is always the same exact slope. So the slope for the equation that we're going to make, we'll call it slope number 2, will be also -1. Okay, so we have that settled. We know what our m is going to be. Now the question is, what is our b going to be? And once we know what our b is going to be for the new line, we'll be finished. So let's put the y equals mx plus b here, and this will be for the second equation that we're looking for. And the second equation will, of course, use the second slope. Okay, so our new equation, our second equation, will use this y equals mx plus b. Now, already for the second equation, we do have a y, an m, and an x. The y is this point right here because this point belongs to the new line. So y, which is located right here, the 3, that's the y, we can replace with 3, substitute with 3. The slope, we know it's going to be -1. And the x, I'll put it in parentheses here because that's multiplication right here. It's going to come from the point here, which is -4. So we'll substitute -4 and then put a plus b. So we're going to solve for b by simplifying all of these. the 3 equals -1 times -4 is going to be +4 plus b. Subtract 4 from both sides, and this will be -1 equals, this cancels, b. So now we actually know what our m is and what our b is. And once you know what m and b, you can create the equation of the line. So let's create the equation of the line. It'll be y equals m, which is -1, x, and then plus the b here, which is -1. And we're finished. Now, let's do that once again. We're going to do it with this one right here. Now, currently, our equation is, the first equation is y equals -2/3 x plus 2. That means that the first slope right here is going to be -2/3. This is the slope belonging to the first equation that they gave us. The new equation that we're going to make, the second equation, is going to have, we'll call it, it's going to be slope 2. Slope 2 is also going to be -2/3. So we know what our second slope is going to be. We just don't know what our b is going to be. Okay, so let's find out the b by using the second equation. So second equation equals the second slope, x plus b. Okay, so let's put in our y, and that'll come from this right here, the -5. Put in our second slope, which is -2/3, because that's a parallel slope, so that's why it matches. X is going to come from this number right here, which is the 6, plus the b. Now let's simplify this. Now when I multiply a 2/3 times a 6, this is what happens. -2/3 multiplied with a 6 is the same thing as -2/3 times a 6/1. And when you multiply numerators and denominators, you'll get 12/3. And the negative, we won't forget that. And 12/3 can be simplified. This fraction, 12, can be divided by 3. Therefore, we can say this is going to be -4. So, this is -5 equals -4 plus b. And then I can solve for b by saying +4 on this side, +4 on this side, and I'll get -1 equals b, because this cancels. And my final equation will be y, the second equation will be y equals, let's see, where's my slope? Oh, there it is right there. -2/3 x, and then my b right here, which is -1.